Hello, Royal We and YouTubers. Welcome to the Royal We Live. My name is Kevin. This is the Monday Night Live segment of the Royal We. This is the Royal We Chat, and this is the opportunity to talk to everybody live, to be able to hear from you what's going on in your life as far as dealing and healing from narcissistic abuse, from toxic relationships, and just being able to talk about narcissism in general, the world of narcissism. And man, the world is crazy right now, is it not? I'm going to go ahead and say hi to some people that are signing in. Hello, everybody that's already on here. Monique, it's good to see you on here. You were the first one on here, Monique. McPhee, how are you? It's good to see you. Shelly Taylor, how are you? It's good to see you here as well. Denny May, hi. Jamie, hi, how are you? D-Doll, hi. D-Doll, a moderator that is in. Good to see you here. There's Chris. All right, Kevin is on time. Bring it. Hey, you know what? We've got to do this right, D. We've got to do this right. HG1, it's been a while. I'm happy that you're here. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Shelly. All right, I'm happy that you're all here. Welcome. I'm going to go ahead and get into some new things that you're going to be able to see from the Royal We. I'm happy to announce that starting Saturday, this coming Saturday, we are going to have Royal We Fellowship. This has been in the works. It's been on my heart, as you and the community already know. So I encourage you to join me Saturday morning, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. We are going to be taking an in-depth biblical look at through the perspective and through the lens of coming out of narcissistic abuse. And I think it's really going to, or I'm hoping and praying, it's really going to be something that's going to be insightful. I am going against what traditional church does. There will be no worship service. There will be no smoke and mirrors. There will be no, weirdness to it. It's going to be straightforward, just Bible reading, but from the lens of coming out of narcissistic abuse. All right. So join me 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. The link to Royal We Fellowship, you will be able to find it down below here. You can also find it on the side under recommended channels on this Royal We Chat. You'll also notice, by the way, the name has changed. It's no longer Join the Royal We. This is Royal We Chat. Hopefully you caught that. There's a new design to it. Looks different. So it's the Royal We Chat, and the other channel is Royal We Fellowship. So look for that new channel, Royal We Fellowship. There's nothing on it right now, but this Saturday morning will be live. So I'm going to go ahead and post the countdown or the live thing this week. But we're going to get rolling with that, all right? So hopefully you all will be on board with that. I'm looking forward to getting into that. No, and let me answer some questions here right away. Monique, you do not have to be a Christian. Okay, this is not, as I mentioned, I'm going against I'm going against Christianity, modern Western Christianity. In every way, shape, or form, this is being done. This is going to be read. Let me go ahead and turn the music down since we're beyond the intro here, guys. All right. There we go. That's for here we go, for D and for those who like the music. Here we go. So, now, the Royal We Fellowship is going to be not Christian at all. It's not coming from the modern Western Christian perspective or anything of that sort. It's going to be a straightforward reading as it was written, and I'm doing my best to gain the ancient instructions, the ancient ideas. I'm reading the Bible not from a Western Christian mindset, which has really, in my perspective, screwed everybody. How many of you have people you're friends with who are Christians, and how many are seeing this weird split even amongst Christians and churches of people who are in support of what's taking place in the United States and other Christians who are not? And how could this even be one body? How could this even be a body of Christ when it's so divided? It is so out there, and it's like the implosion of Christianity as we know it. This is the great falling away. So I want to assure you that Royal We Fellowship is not going to be anything like that. What we are going to do is take a look at what the Bible has to say. We're going to look at the ancient texts that are provided. We're going to gain some insight into some of the ancient understandings. That's really what I'm going for. Some of the ancient understandings, because as I read the ancient understandings, I cannot help but see everything that we need to protect ourselves in a world of narcissism and narcissistic abuse. if we look at it that way and stop with the Christianese nonsense of love everybody. You follow me? And with this twisted, weird thing of love. So if this in any way, shape, or form gives you an idea of what Royal We Fellowship is going to be all about, then you're going to be there. You'll be there. All right. And so as for this Royal We live chat, also I changed the name. It's Royal We chat. This is the chat. So we're going to have Royal We, the organic channel. We're going to have Royal We Fellowship Saturday mornings, Royal We chat every Monday night. Hopefully they will all be able to mesh and join together. This will still be the place to come with all your questions. The phone number is available. Take advantage. Make that phone call. Share your story. Share your insights with the Royal We community. Royal We Fellowship is going to be live as well, but there will be no phone calls, but you will be welcome to chat on Royal We Fellowship. Share your ideas through the chat. Share your ideas amongst each other based on what we're reading, what we're looking at. This is really totally, completely like, Midrash style, and I think it's so cool because, how many of you, if you've been to a church and modern Western Christianity, you sit there and you're like quiet and you feel ashamed of yourself if you're like texting on the phone, but you're just kind of over the pastor's, comedian style presence or whatever. So, this is nothing like that. I'm going to be sharing, but you're welcome to talk amongst each other. And it's welcomed. So I believe it's going to be a great thing. Now, enough of that. I want you to be able to find that channel and go ahead and subscribe to it. And like I said, this week I'm going to put the not a countdown, but the next live event. I'm going to post the live event, which is going to be Saturday. So again, the channel is Royal We Fellowship. If the link's not down below right now, it will be after this is done. I know for a fact on this channel, Royal We Live Chat channel, under the recommended channels, featured channels, you will find Royal We Fellowship. Click on that. It's all there for you. Same channel, different title, Royal We Fellowship. That's it. Yep. I love it. Christianese. Yeah, we are not doing the Christianese thing around here. And I'm nervous and excited at the same time. As I've been planning and preparing what I'm going to be talking about, just to share with you because you are the Royal We chat, the Royal We community here. I caught myself trying to push it out like a pastor, and I have to keep reminding myself, and this is an eternal battle because it's what we know. And I said, Kevin, you're not preaching. You're not a pastor. It's not modern Christianese. We're not doing that. Stop it. So, so it's just where we're going with that. And well, enough of that announcement. Let's go ahead and get into tonight's topic. This is all about answering questions, and I do have some questions here that the phone number's up, and obviously your phone calls take priority. But I'm going to go ahead and get into one of the questions that I received this week via text. It says, hey, Kevin, I just watched your video on narcissism and myself getting out of a 3.5-year relationship with one. Completely blindsided that the person I was with didn't even exist. And that's so true. That's what we all experience. It's like we look at the narcissist that we're with and it's like, wow, where's the person that won me over? Where's the person that so lovingly brought me in? Where's the person that invited me into their home? What happened? I've been blindsided. And it is. It's like driving on cruise control and all of a sudden getting hit by a truck right out of nowhere. That's what it feels like. The question goes on. It was scary as hell. Yeah, I believe that. Any advice on how to fully accept this and heal faster? Very traumatic, I'm sure you know. Right, and so there's a couple of things on how to heal. One, don't rush the process. That's the very first thing I could tell anybody coming out of narcissistic abuse and any kind of a traumatic experience. It is not a race to get over it. And I've been really hitting on this on some of my organic videos, and some of you will have probably picked up on that. I will actually say it's not a race to see who can heal first. I used to be under that impression. I know a lot of people are. It's like who can heal how fast can we heal? And it doesn't help that we have outside influences and outside pressure to heal. This is one of my biggest issues with the modern Christian church, as a matter of fact, and people who come from Christian backgrounds. It's almost like you're forced to forgive. And you are shamed and you are guilted if you cannot. I struggled with this. I went to church. I was on the staff as a counselor and this and that. And I was in so much pain as I was facing these people who I was looking up to, trying to find help in my situation. I knew every bit of me was saying, get away from these so-called family members. Get away from these siblings. Everything inside of me was saying, Kevin, protect your family and get away from them. They wish to do you harm. Run, get out. But as I was stuck because of my faith and my belief, and I was going to church counselors and stuff. The pastors I would look up to and asking for help, and they'd say, well, you've got to get over this. You've been carrying this on for too long. I'm like, I'm still in it. Carrying what on for too long? I haven't even begun to heal yet. I'm still in the fight. They're still fighting with me nonstop. They're still trying to hurt me, trying to hurt my family. So it's just bad information. And in that is the pressure to get over it and to forgive and forget. Nonsense. It is not a race to heal. So the first thing that you should know that can help you is give yourself permission to hurt. Give yourself permission to be angry. Give yourself permission, however long it takes, for your body, your mind, and your spirit to begin to wrap your mind around and accept that you were lied to, that the person in your life, whether it was a family member, a friend, whoever, does not care about you, okay? And that it's not your fault. The second thing is to know that it's not your fault, okay? This is a huge one. They're experiencing something. The narcissist is experiencing something. They're experiencing aggressive hate towards the world, towards people in general. They're fighting for their own survival in a way, the only way they know how. And in the narcissist perspective, fighting in their world means putting you down. They have to be on top of you. You have the choice now to just get out of that drama. I'm not a part of this. It has nothing to do with me. Not easy. When you saw somebody love you, all of a sudden act like they don't. It's the most difficult thing to detach and learn how to separate the two. But once you do, you'll never experience narcissistic abuse again. And the reason is because your new perspective that you look at the world through will be that people who are angry and get hostile, it's their issue. And you can move on, okay? So, but that is the second part. You have to get away from them, unsubscribe. Subscribe to the Royal We, unsubscribe to the toxic drama. Unsubscribe to their name calling, right? And in fact, I want for those of you who are not subscribed to the Royal We to imagine that as you hit subscribe on the Royal We Fellowship or on the Royal We Chat or on the Royal channel, you are also simultaneously unsubscribing from the toxic family members, ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, ex-spouses, whomever. You're unsubscribing from their life, right? Because their anger is not you. And so those are the two main things. One, give yourself permission. Two, understand that it has nothing to do with you. And three, understand that the narcissist, in order to get into your life, they were playing a role. They were playing a role. It was never about you. They were playing a role with you. They are how would you say it? Their life they have an allegiance, if you will, okay? And their allegiance is either to their own narcissism or it's to their group mindset, maybe to their family, whatever. But it's not to you. And this is something that, and so when they are trying to get involved with you, it's fake. It's a transactional relationship at best. You give them something, they give you something. When you slow down or don't meet their needs, they will show their allegiance, which was never with you. It was with something else. Okay? So those three things, I hope that will help in your situation. Again, one, give yourself permission to hurt as long as it takes. Two, what was number two? Help me out here. Number two was understand it's not your fault. And then number three, understand that they were playing a role. Okay? It was never really truly about you. They were playing a role in what they viewed as a transactional relationship. And the role was they will treat you kind if you provide what they needed. That's the role. Okay? I know it's difficult, but that's it. Yeah, they had a false narrative, as Dee says. Right on. Yeah. Anybody else have anything to add on to that? D says, Kevin, they had a false narrative. We all understand that in the current situations we deal with every day now. Yeah, it's a false narrative. Right. It is. They had a story in their mind, and a lot of times people will say that you're like a shiny new toy in their narrative when you first come into the picture, and they're playing a role as much as they're having you fulfill a role, right? So in their mind, your role is that you're the shiny new toy. In their mind, their role is they are the owner of a shiny new toy. Okay, this truly explains narcissistic abuse. As long as you are with them, they assume an ownership role over you, and the role they're playing is good ownership, and is so long as you are functioning in the way that you should be functioning as their toy. Does that make sense? If not, you see the bad side, right? They throw you around, kick you around the room. You're a stupid toy, right? Like little kids throwing their toys up, their car that broke down, throwing it up against the wall. Stupid car, right? That's what you are, right? So you see the reality of the situation as opposed to the role that they're playing of really enjoying if you are functioning properly according to them. And not your fault. Thank you, D, for writing that down. Yeah, not your fault. Number one, D, in case someone missed it, number one was give yourself time. Give yourself all the time you need. All right? Yeah. And Fifi adds to that, yes, we can't unsee it once we see the truth. Just more manipulation. That's right. And this is true. Understand this. The pain is it's horrible. It's horrific. But understand this. In time, the pain is transforming you. You will never experience narcissistic abuse like that again. I guarantee you. You're awake now. You will see it a mile away. You should, depending on how you process it. If you get away from it, you process it, you go through the grieving, the aggravation, the anger, the hurt, everything, you will start to look at the world differently. You will automatically look at people as their anger issues is their anger issues. Their lifestyle choices is their lifestyle choices. They're choosing to manipulate and lie to people is their choice. Does it bother you? Yes. But are you emotionally invested in it anymore? No. I guarantee you won't be. I'm not. Once I experienced that one time, I'll never again be emotionally invested in someone's anger and hurt. It's their issue, even if it's my kids. And I have to let them know, if they come at that age in teenage years or 20s or whatever, where they go through a bad funk in life like we all go through, they experience this anger, I'm going to have to set those boundaries, around us. This is your anger. You've got to figure this out. And seeing that the faster we do this in our relationships, the faster that boundary goes up, and we are instantaneously saying, I'm not subscribing to your anger. It's not my fault. It's yours. Deal with it, right? And just to share, I did do this recently with my own brother, right? So for those of you who don't know, I do have a brother, and my father has passed away. Oh, someone called. Please call back again. I didn't mean to miss your call. My brother and I process things differently. Since my dad's death, my brother is very angry. And he admitted that to me. He says, I'm very angry over the fact that dad died. Not sad. I'm just very angry. And I've seen his anger. It's coming out. And he has an explosive, angry personality type. I don't. I like to talk stuff through. He gets angry. And he blew up, and and the kids were there, and I was there, and we're leaving. We separated. We talked to each other on the phone, and he apologized, and he said he's just angry. And I told him, I said, you've got to figure your anger out. Okay, I'm not qualified to help you in this situation. You figure your anger out, and until this is resolved, and until and I told him, I said, you've got to get the counseling, talk to counselors, because it's too risky having our kids and families together if you're going to be blowing up. Your kids don't need to be seeing that. And I don't want to be around it. And it feels so good. I'm telling you, as I was able to walk away, I walked away with this. I still love my brother, right? And I squashed that right from the get-go, saying, that type of anger is not going to fly. You go to the appropriate way and get help for yourself. That is how you set boundaries. And that's what stops narcissistic abuse. And you learn that with narcissists, and you'll never have narcissistic abuse again. You send them away. It's not mine. I'm not dealing with it. Go deal with it somewhere else. You guys go ahead and call. Telephone line is up and running. See if there's any other comments on that. And your head is blocking the phone number. How about if I move this way? Is it out of the way? No, this way. I don't know which. I'm trying to wait to see which way is going to block it and which way is not. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. Thank you, K Bootsy, for putting it up there. Phone number is 951-394-3496. Yeah, I can see my big head in the screen now. All right. Let's see here. Alessandra Gale, what do you do, as she asked, what do you do when they're more mentally abusive? Like if they manipulate the situation to make you seem like you're the irrational one, but you see the manipulation. Yeah, again, that's a typical narcissistic tactic. They will assault you, but then obviously they're going to gaslight you. They're going to use mental tactics to say that it's your fault, right? What do? This is where you have to detach, because if not, you're going to go back and forth. You're going to go in this rabbit hole, and you're going to start to believe that you're doing something wrong. And this is where you have to know inside, I didn't do anything wrong, and you separate and you detach. You go no contact. You have no other choice in this. It's either that or argue a fight that you cannot win. You cannot tell somebody who's telling you that you're the problem. You cannot tell them, no, I'm not. You're the problem, because that's all it's going to be, back and forth. You're the problem. No, you're the problem. No, you're the problem. No, you're the problem. It's you. It's you. You did this. You did this. You did that. You did that. Okay? So you have to step back. And the only way to end that is to not engage. Get out of it. I contact you and say, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not qualified to deal with this. I'm out. Right? In these cases, your silence has to be the best response. All right? That's how you stop the mentally abusive. Otherwise, they will continue to mentally abuse you. Gaslighting is a real thing. That's part of it. It's part of what they do. I can't trust, Shadow says, I can't trust any intimate relationship prospect anymore. I flee. I just can't do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's where you're at, that makes complete sense, right? Intimate relationships, especially nowadays, are very risky, very difficult to navigate, and it can be heartbreaking. I personally see people who I love dearly, care about, on my personal social media, Facebook and whatnot. A gal I know who is obviously I'm not going to say her name, but she is a very well-known singer, and she's actually a Christian-based singer. Met a guy. She had a really, she had a couple things, some bad things happen. She did lose a son. This was a couple years ago. About 3 years ago, she lost her son. And then during that process of healing from losing her son, her and her husband divorced. I believe that it was just too much pain, and the husband just wasn't having it. He just left, and the marriage was destroyed over it. She was very broken. And just within the past, I would say 6 months, I saw this dude pop up. And he's a good-looking guy, like super good-looking guy. And she's a very good-looking singer. But good-looking guy, super charming, like 6 months ago. And, man, she looks at him like he is just the world. I'm happy that she found happiness. But there's something, that's something inside that's just like, because everything about her is just perfect. He's perfect. And anyway, 6 months in, and they're getting married. They got married within 6 months. Not even really. I mean, it's hard. Sometimes it's painful to watch. Going, I want to go. Oh my gosh, because I know that even from my own experience, even the courtship process to have a lengthy marriage is not easy, and it's not all roses. Mine wasn't. That's for sure. And to see that, I'm like, well, I hope I hope for the best, but it pains me to think that, man, that's I don't know, that can end pretty bad. That's the one thing about dealing with narcissism and talking about narcissistic abuse, and the one thing I have to catch is that arrogance, because it's real, and I think we all do. We need to keep our hearts in check, because it's real easy for us to walk around and go, that's a narcissist, or that's a relationship that's going to fail, or that looks fake, and that, I mean, because even though we can see that, and why can we see that? Because we've experienced it firsthand. So I'm not saying it's not justified. I'm just saying we need to be careful that we're not out there crushing people's lives. You know what? Sometimes some of the best things that we could do is allow somebody else to experience the narcissistic abuse, because we can't, unless they want your help. Does that make sense? So people who are to ask, Kevin, I know somebody who is getting involved in narcissistically abusive relationships. Should I stop it? Should I help? And the answer is no, unless they're coming to you for help specifically. We have to watch out, right? The point of the Royal We, the point of what we're doing is not to go around calling people, because then obviously eventually you look like the bully, and that's not what we are, okay? But and so I keep my mouth. I notice these things, but I keep my mouth shut, and inside I'm going, oh, the pain of what it looks like could materialize out of a relationship starting extremely shallow, especially in a very beautiful Christian singer in her life, and she's up there, you know, in age. She's not in her 20s anymore, you know. And it's like, oh, the idea of what of the negative things that could happen, and I have to keep my heart in check and say, well, I hope for the best, but it doesn't look good. A very short courtship and a rush to marriage, and everything looks perfect with this charming, amazing. This guy seems seemingly perfect, and I'm like, I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna get off that rant. Yeah, you could see the danger ahead. We can smell red flags. That's it. We do. Yeah. D says, I keep telling people, if you have to ask the questions, you probably already know the answer. Yeah. All right. Alessandra says, I can't live with my grandparents. I live with my grandparents, his parents, and he still holds a lot of financial power as of right now. I'm still pretty young and can't afford to live on my own. It's a very difficult situation when you are living in a dependency on on a narcissistically abusive person, right? Part of the abuse that you feel is that dependency. It's the oppression. Some of that will clear up if you could get out on your own. I always challenge people personally when I do one-on-one time with people through counseling. I challenge people in these situations to start to figure out and look, how can you get out on your own? What's it going to take? And it's real easy to say, I can't do it. I can't. And a lot of this comes from narcissistic oppression in our lives, right? Being told we can't, we're not good enough, we can't make it. But the reality is when we take those steps, listen, I took my family from a situation of being just completely squashed in California, moved 5 states away with just 2 cars full of stuff and nowhere to go. All right, so I know what it feels like leaving a situation and having no idea. And I had a lot at stake. I had a family with me. It was brutal. It was scary. But doors open, and you learn so much. You learn so much about yourself. You learn so much about what's possible, what you can do on your own. And these are important things. So it really becomes a challenge to you. It's up to you, right? And I say this to young guys who are still living at home. You know, when I work with people in their early 20s who are still living at home and they just can't take it anymore because of their narcissistic parents all up in their, and I'm like, what's it going to take for you to get out? Well, I can't. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, take that jump, take that risk, even if you have to live in some dank, stanky apartment that's fallen apart. You're on your own, right? And you start to build your life from there. So the more you're dependent, the more oppressed you are. Always keep that in mind. Not a good thing to be with narcissists. All right. Yeah. All right. So no phone calls right at the moment, but I will go ahead and look into another question. This is another text message question that came in this past week. Says, hi, my name is Shanette, and I have been in a 16-year relationship with a narcissist. Help. I'm so close to committing suicide, but I have 3 children. Please give me many steps that I can take. This is a very difficult question and very difficult place to be in. Anytime that there's thoughts of suicide involved in a relationship, that is the absolute worst feeling of hopelessness. That's the worst feeling of there's nowhere to go. That would seem to me that all else would fail. All right. And these things are tough because, with 3 children, obviously I would be concerned that there might be some other issues going on because there's not enough to know about the situation just based on that email. Okay. I don't know if the children are small, if they're still babies, then perhaps there's some postpartum depression involved in the way you're feeling. Perhaps you never even wanted babies and you find yourself in this situation. You don't know what to do. Perhaps they're grown and you're older now and your kids are on their own and now you don't know, what you're doing and why you're in the relationship. So I'm not certain about what the exact context is and why this person would feel suicidal. However, nonetheless, it's a very difficult situation and it's not good. And so I would strongly encourage you to seek one-on-one help. And I think the best mini step you could take is what you did. Reach out, send that text message, and be honest. I've been thinking about this, right? And I know a lot of people who have said that they think about that. They've thought about it. And I don't have the right words to make it stop. But I can assure you that taking the many steps of just being open and talking about it and sending that text message saying I'm thinking about these things, and that's a start. That's a good thing. That's a good place to be. Okay. Now it's going to be the challenge is finding that person that you can talk to about those specific issues, right? Because in these situations, if you're feeling suicidal in a abusive relationship, narcissistically abusive relationship, then it's not as easy to just leave. And I couldn't just tell you, well, get up and get out of the situation. That's going to make it better. Because the reality is, as everybody here knows from dealing with narcissists, when you leave, that's when the real pain begins, right? I mean, I know we see a lot of posts of people saying, I left 6 months ago and I'm living my best life and yada yada, but that's not true. The reality is that when you first leave, it's excruciating, and the uncertainty of what's going to be without that person. Yes, the abuse is left behind you, but still, the abuse was something that you started to expect, and so you learned, you knew that, but without it and going into the unknown, it's more difficult. You don't know what to expect, and that can weigh down on you. So you'd want to cautiously leave the situation that's making you feel suicidal. And when I say cautiously, do it with the help of counselors and do it with the help of people who can be with you, be physically present and helping you to make that decision and to be there with you every step of the way. So the many steps, those are my recommendations for that. Monique says, how do I send text message questions with you, Kevin? Note, I'm in Australia, so I don't. Sure, Monique, you can send a text question to the same phone number that's right up above my head. It does receive text messages, so you're more than welcome to send a text message there. All right. Let's see if there's any other questions here. Check out the new place to subscribe for additional channel. D, is that the Royal We Fellowship channel that you're posting? I hope so. D says, how bad, here's a question from D. How bad does it have to get for you to leave? I had that question pressed to me, had to respond. How bad does it have to get for you to leave? I mean, that's a very personalized question, right? I mean, what's bad for one person might not be bad for another. So, ideally, when you first are experiencing narcissistic abuse, you're not going to recognize the gaslighting, which is really bad. Anytime somebody is twisting your words, saying something and then lying and saying it never happened, that's bad. I mean, that's horrible. That stuff is next level nonsense. That should not be tolerated, period. But when you've never seen it before, you let it slip, right? Because you're like, what was that? That was weird. Okay, whatever. I still love you because I think you love me, right? But after you go through narcissistic abuse and you heal, that one episode of that is enough to leave the relationship and be like, or at least distance yourself, detach. And when they call you and say, hey, what's up? How come we haven't hung out in a while? You could say, well, you did say something, and then 5 minutes later said something different. You're tripping me out, dude. I call it gaslighting. Okay. And so your tolerance becomes a lot less. So the reality is to answer Dee's question, when does it become enough to leave? It depends on your level of healing, your understanding of narcissism, your understanding of what it is you're looking for in life, what you will and will not tolerate in life. That's going to determine when you decide or how much narcissistic abuse is enough to leave. I mean, for me in my life right now, I just don't even go near it, period. I just don't. I have zero tolerance for the drama of game playing. I don't. I simply do not. And maybe that'll loosen up a little bit, and I might be like, and I might be more of in a better place to help people who are doing that. You know what I mean? Call it out and say, hey, that's gaslighting, by the way. And instead of doing that, maybe you can just, understand that, if you say this, it's, you know what I mean? But I'm not there yet. Right now, I'm just straight hardcore. That's nonsense. Get it out of here. It's not welcome here. Block, delete, whatever, right? And I've become known as that guy, and it's kind of has a hard front, but that's just where I'm at right now with it. So it's different for everybody. All right. Any other questions here? All right. Well, listen, everybody, I'm so happy that you decided to join me on Monday night live for Royal We Chat. I hope you do like the new look that's going on in the back. And I hope you all have made your way over or will make your way over to Royal We Fellowship and will join here live, not on this channel, but Royal We Fellowship. Join live Saturday morning, 9 o'clock a.m. And I'm anxious to put it out there and get the first Royal We Fellowship out. So that's going to be this Saturday morning. So be sure to subscribe to that channel. This week you'll see the upcoming stream, and that will be posted. And yeah, and I'm excited. So I'm glad that you all are here. Thank you for being here. Be sure to like and hit the bell notification for next Monday nights as well. And also look on the organic channel for another upload. One will be coming this week. Amongst all the changes, I really want to do my best to make sure I'm putting the videos out there as I'm being inspired to do new material. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Once again, have a great rest of your week, and we'll be back with more right here on the Royal We. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Tanya, I forgot. How can I always, man, Tanya needs this going out. Tanya, this is for you. Where is it? Yeah, here we go. All right, Tanya girl, and everybody else, have a great night. Blessings.